Hey, Bad Christian here. Today I want to just talk a little bit about freedom. I know there's a lot of you out there that are Republicans. There's a lot of you out there that are Democrats. Some of you consider yourselves conservative. Some of you consider yourselves liberal. I know there's a lot of fighting that goes on amongst everybody. And I find it funny because each party thinks that they're the party of freedom. And everybody's fighting for the rights. Each party thinks that they are the symbol of freedom. Each party thinks that they are the party that's going to fix the problems that the other parties created. And we just keep switching back and forth and going back and forth and creating all these arguments out of pride for our nation. But I mean, what are we free to do? Where is our freedom? Because I can tell you this, Christ will make you free. Christ will make you a lot freer. Jesus will make you a lot freer than any government will ever do for you. There's a lot more freedom in the yoke that you get with Christ than you do to the yoke to your government. Jesus said, take my burden, for it is light, But, I mean, when it comes to the whole government thing, how's this really panning out for everybody? I mean, how's it panning out for y'all? How's the government working out for you? How's this thing aging? Because everybody seems to have an issue. Everybody seems to think that it's all screwed up and nothing's working how it's supposed to be working. And at the same time, everybody wants to be proud of the very thing that they claim is broken. So how's it aging? How's it coming out? Get out of my rants. Get out of my rants. Shiloh. Sorry. Shiloh is, he's my dog. And he's in my rant patch. You don't need to be in there. But anyway. So, back to this government thing. You've got a government that just stacks law on top of law on top of law. And I don't see that as getting freer. I don't see that as promoting freedom. I mean, but maybe it's just me. I don't know. You got crooked politicians on every side. We're all aware that politicians are crooked, so why do we vote for them? I mean, every time we have a major election, it comes down to this argument. Well, you have to vote for the lesser of the two evils. And I just don't understand why it wants us to pick evil. You know, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and expect a different result, don't you? You've got, as the Bible said, line upon line, precept upon precept, until there's no room to go. And that's why you got different generations in America that have experienced different levels of this freedom that everybody is so proud to have, but nobody seems to be able to find. You know, you want freedom of speech. Yeah, well, what are you free to say? Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. So how's that working out for everybody? It just becomes one issue after another until people are standing in the streets and people are ready to hang people and in the name of God. Yeah, because it's a real Christian thing to do, is to go find a man and string him up in the street. Just like it's a real Christian thing to do to protest the death of somebody and burn a city down. That's ridiculous. I mean, what have we really come to when our politics and our opinions will override our humanity and our morality to the point where we will shut our ears to the whole conversation because we're so stuck in our politics. We're so stuck in our way. We're so stuck in our opinion. Everybody believes that they're right. Everybody's got to be right. Everybody's got to be smarter than everybody else. I mean, I have an opinion, but my opinion don't matter. I know that. I'm a nobody. It don't mean nothing. I don't have to be right. I can be wrong. It's okay. You could sit in a room and have a conversation with anybody who would claim to be of an opposing opinion. I try not to have opposing opinion about anything. I just try to understand it for what it is and appreciate the life that God has gave us to live here. I mean, you got things like fascism being talked about. Fascism is just the suppression of the opposition. And you know what? Both sides are doing that. You're both being ridiculous. I don't have to hate you just because I disagree with you. I mean, even if we don't have the same politics, it's okay. We can still do better than just get along. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying a government's a bad thing. You gotta have some kind of governing body. You gotta have laws. And that's the whole thing. I mean, do I support freedom? Absolutely I do, but only to a certain extent. And that's kind of the whole idea behind everything. And we just like to use these broad words like pride and freedom and as if that gives us this thing that we don't really have, you know. We don't have any control over the laws that are made. We get to vote for somebody who goes behind a closed door and has discussions with people we don't even know. They're all lobbied, every one of them. And if they ain't lobbied, they're grifting. I mean, it's ridiculous. Do you see anything particularly going well with the government? With our whole system? With the way we handle our laws, the legislative branches, the way we handle, you know, the DOJ, all of that, you know? I mean, we've got a system that can be weaponized against itself. Like I said, anything you say can and will be used against you. Just find it interesting that we believe that we're a free nation. But I mean, we have some more rights than a few other people out there. But we don't really allow our citizens to do a whole lot more than most other countries do. You know, and you talk about, you know, the First and Second Amendment. You know, there's essentially limits to that, you know, because freedom of speech is not just freedom of speech. It doesn't mean you can just say anything you want. Now, do I believe that, you know, we should be labeling speech? Yeah, I mean, hate speech, I guess. Really, the call to action is the issue. I mean, it's one thing to say that I don't like something or something makes me feel a certain way, but it's another thing to say, you know, everybody march down to the courthouse and overtake it. That's a call to action. That's illegal. Can't do that. You can't incite violence. We don't have that morality within us anymore. It just seems like it's disappearing. Do you really believe in freedom? I mean, how much time are we going to spend just continually chasing after this thing? It doesn't seem to be getting us anywhere. Like we're barely treading water. I mean, you're talking about a system that hasn't balanced the budget, can't even balance their checkbook. I mean, us as citizens, we can't live that way. I don't have that ability. I can't just spend more money than I've got. I have limitations, but it's interesting how you have a system that is designed to take from you and take from you and take from you. And the one job that it should have is to keep a checks and balances of the money that they take and keep that within reason. They can't even do that. If it's failing, it's failing. It's not working, guys. I mean, if you tried to run a business and you run that business into $8 trillion in debt every single year, how long does your business get to keep going? But we're dealing with a system that just keeps taking. And they're not even taking from you anymore. They're taking from your grandchildren at this point. So when does it become ridiculous? When do we realize that we're not free? We're free to do what we're told. We're free to have what little rights that we do have. And you know what? The laws that surround those questionable rights They keep us infringed in a way where if we get into a situation, we're screwed anyway. I mean, you've got a system designed to consume itself. And if a house is divided against itself, it cannot stand. But what do I know? Just a bad Christian.